Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new Let's Play. Unfortunately, my save game has already spoiled what we're going to be playing. We're going to be playing Third Odyssey Back to the Motherland. Now, this is a mod made by a very good group of people. Now, I do apologize. I will have the link down below. I do apologize. I don't exactly remember people's names very well, so I apologize for that. But, yes, we are going to be playing this. Now, we're going to be playing this in the bog standard way. We're going to be playing as, well, you will see, Byzantium we're going to be playing as. Now, I'm going to read pretty much everything about this because it's like a whole new... It's like alternate history and it's brilliant. Now, this mod, honestly, is probably my favorite thing other than Extended... Actually, probably better than Extended Timeline because it's just... I love Byzantium. So, we're going to read the description because I feel like it does it justice. So, we're going to experience an alternative history where the Emperor of Byzantium ponders the state of the realm. Gradually, his appreciation for the works written about the fall of Troy and the adventures of his heroes increase and inspire him to consider a bold move. Odysseus in Homer's Odysseus in Homer's Odyssey faced a hardship on his way back home. Aeneas in Virgil's Aeneid was forced to flee the city and was led by Jupiter and Venus to found the city of Elysium after a great odyssey of his own. The city would later be known as the city which Romulus and Remus' mother originated. Now it is time for the Byzantines to embark on the Third Odyssey. Will you lead the faltering Greeks to a new world? Now, we're going to get straight in because this is a very lengthy part. It's going to be a lengthy exposition part, and we're probably going to do it by very, very little in the sense of actual gameplay. Because there's a lot of reading to do. And by God, it's a lot. I think I played for 5-6 hours, and I only did about 40 years, and that was on 4 speed, so there's a lot of reading to do. We won't be reading generic events for the most part. We'll read the first few, but once the generic events, like the events from the actual game, we're just going to phase them reading those out. But all the events that I've never seen before, I know are unique to this mod, we're going to be reading, unless they get overly annoying as well. Anyway, thank you for trying out the Third Odyssey. The notion of this mod follows is as follows. In an alternate history... Oh, yeah, we read all that. Where we read to... Oh, no. In an alternate history, the Emperor of the Byzantium used all his means disposal to gather a fleet and search for new lands to settle. How he does this, what he takes along, and the decisions he makes on this journey are greatly impacted the later stages of the game. As the player continues with a new nation, think about your actions carefully because what doesn't seem to do anything may have repercussions later in the game. Seemingly easy choices may lead to new issues to deal with. I have tried to simulate interaction with the natives and the development of technology and philosophically advanced growing nation as best as possible without making it for boring gameplay. And I hope you will enjoy carving out an empire as none more than a mere Byzantine colony. Just like I enjoy creating this experience, closing this event will initiate the experience. So, good luck to have, and it was Lichtang, the mod creator. So let's get started. So, Roman flight happens to us. So, nothing happens immediately. We have to go to 4 speed is probably the best to get the initial events done. It'll pause on all the events, so... Here is the first one, Greek fire. Let's get rid of these. Let's just hide that for now. So, a court librarian came forth last night. He gathered all documents, description, and testimonies from the crew of fire ships. This way, he managed to combine all pieces of the puzzle required to recreate Greek fire and the machinery required to use it. We could take along this knowledge and have a ship prepared to carry a prototype to go along with our fleet. What do you think? Now, we can either what uses fire versus gunpowder these days. Pretty useful, actually. Which will gain us 30 ducats and will gain extra ships and supplies in the form of troops, ships, and base tax upon landing. Or we can take Greek fire with us and have Greek fire, but that will increase naval maintenance, but it does make light ship and galleys have better combat ability. And now, honestly, of course, we'll take it with us. It is our heritage. We cannot not have it. And the Library of Knowledge. We should consider taking copies of our ancient knowledge with us on our travels. They would benefit us greatly and serve to preserve our knowledge and technological progress. Then again, we don't have an infinite amount of free space and supplies for settlers, so this one's kind of a no-brainer. It's definitely worth taking because, again, the base tax is good, but honestly, I don't mind the amount of base tax I already start with when I get there. So knowledge is power. I like power. Okay, the Silk of Constantinople. Long ago, emissaries brought us gifts from faraway lands, including the means to produce silk. We have preserved and protected our monopoly in European silk production ever since. We could consider taking the secret with us and destroy us what's left. What good will expensive clothing do us? Or we get more trade efficiency. If nothing else, the secret will die with us. Just gonna... the Genoese merchants. We should get the most out of our position while we still can. There are 2 proposals prepared for the Doge of Genoa. Both offer Genoa's ships free passage through the Bosphorus for as long as the current emperor is in power. We can either ask them for a full payment in gold or some of their fine ships needed to secure a route. So we can take their ships, we gain ships and supplies, or we gain their money. We're going to take their ships. We'll need their ships. That gives us some more ships and makes our thing. And Venice desires the Peloponnese. We have long known the Venetians want to expand their holdings in the Aegean. We should consider offering them control over the Peloponnese for a set time, 20 years, in return for a portion of their navy at a one-time payment. This might upset our people, and the lords of Athens would feel their position compromised on many flanks. But this deal is worth it. Well worth. So we can either take loads of ships and stuff, or we can just gain stability. No, we're gonna. God knows we need it. The Athenian nobles worry. The nobles of Athens are worried about our recent decisions. They demand compensation of their own in the form of land or gold. Should we pay them? And yeah, we're going to lose money and stability again. It's very unfortunate, but it's how it has to happen. Granada demands a toll. So now we're actually already over here. We're now right here. So the ruler of Granada heard of our great expedition approaching and joined up with the Moroccans to intercept and demand toll. Their fleet is smaller than ours, but we'd have losses in normal fight. With Greek fire, this would be an easy fight without losses. It hasn't been seen in a long time. What should we do? Our Greek fire will make quick work of them. So the Portuguese were now about here. The 2 Portuguese ships sailed near today with an envoy. One of the ships and accompanying supplies and gifts can be used in our travels. If we share our discoveries with them, they are under the impression we are headed off to explore Africa. One of our advisors suggests that we use this opportunity to trick the nations of Europe, making them believe we stumbled onto the end of the world and our last act was to inform them. That way, it might take some generations before curiosity returns. Who knows? They could try to follow otherwise. So a good catch. They'll give us money, troops, and ships, and they'll like us. And now we're fucking off and give it further. A storm approaches. There's been many weeks of good sailing. We are smart to take away far more supplies than required. Storm approaches now, though. It looks like we'll get caught in whatever we do. After a long struggle, we passed through it, however. So it took one of the treasure ships, or it took one of the treasure ships. Never get ready to supply ships, because you can't increase it now. And a great catastrophe has occurred. After surviving the great storm, a number of crew throughout the fleet became stricken with phthisis, or tuberculosis. Despite the best efforts of our greatest physicians, Emperor Ioannis VIII also fell victim to the disease. While some say that it is just an unfortunate tragedy, others say it's divine punishment for fleeing Constantinople in its darkest hour. Regardless, Ioannis VIII's son, Constantinos, has been crowned emperor and will finish what his father started. Good luck to him. The Pantheon worship. The storm lies a few days behind us now, leaving many on the edge of despair. A cleric asked to see you, and you invited him into your quarters. He's a very charismatic man, capable of inspiring the men in face of death, and has served us well in the armies fighting against the Ottomans. So it seems strange that he of all men would suggest such a thing. Return to worshipping the old gods, the Roman and Hellenic gods. He says he studied our history and noticed a downward trend ever since the first emperor converted to Christianity. He states that despite being the servant of God, he did not help defend Jerusalem or Constantinople from the Muslims. And the recent storm can only illustrate the temper of Poseidon. If there are gods, he continued, they must be as flawed and ill-tempered as the Hellenic gods. Who we would be best to appease them, rather than speak to a god that may listen, but seems not to care. You make a compelling argument. We are now Hellenic, which is a very good faith. The settlement. Some of our ships went ahead and founded a preliminary camp. The main fleet will arrive to unload cargo later. All things considered, this expedition couldn't have gone much better. We're lucky to have found land with enough supplies to last for years. There's work to be done. We're now Elysia. The Empire of Elysia. We have finally arrived at new coasts, which it doesn't show. Yeah, it does. Here we are. Yep, we lost Constantine, but it doesn't matter. Yes, we finally arrived with no other settlements in sight. We have gained and lost ships on the way, and now it is when it becomes clear what impacts this has had. Every bit of knowledge and technology has cost us dearly in manpower supplies. There was only so much we could take along. In the meantime, the Ottomans have probably invaded what was left of our home. Let us hope we made the right choices. What is done is done. So, form a new nation with corresponding ideas and technology and base tax, troops, ships and modifiers depending on your choices. Our new home. With the help of our oracles, we have been able to read the signs given by the gods through flock of birds. Even before arriving in these new lands, the gods have sent us these signs and instructed us to name our nations thus. Let us celebrate with wine and geese. It is decided then. Elysia, renamed to Elysia, capital of Elysia, named to Neo-Constantinopolis. Forgotten homeland. We are no longer aware of what goes on in our ancient homeland. Now oblivious to the old world, we can focus on the new world ahead of us. Will we ever return? Eager explorers. The land we have discovered still remains mostly unknown, but that did not stop our explorers, who without much trouble explored the area around our capital. Great. So now we have colonists, and we can colonize either Diog or Nanticoke. So we're going to. We're also going to be a native repression policy. So they're both equally as good. They basically share everything. The only difference is this has got coastal. This is grassland, and I prefer grassland. So we're gonna get Diog first. Now, these are the missions, and the Elysian homeland is the one I'm gonna be doing. Our nation would greatly benefit from securing a good amount of land around our capital. Doing so would form a strong, solid homeland, providing all the resources and troops for further expansion. So now we're gonna continue. Now the Imperial cult. With the recent conversion from Elysia to Hellenism, the time has come for the Emperor to choose his patron deity, providing to the people that his rule is legitimate in the eyes of the gods. We're going to be choosing Ares, because if we ever want to attack, Ares is the best. We now have Eager Settler, which gives us plus 500 recruit thing, and it's going to be for the first two. So, but this is Odysseus. Anyway, salvaging the fleet. Upon unloading the last of the cargo from the remaining ships, our sailors realized that our fleet had taken much more damage in the storm than we had originally thought, and it is in need of urgent repair. There is a debate occurring among the people on how the usefulness of repairing the fleet at all, as it would be expensive to repair and maintain. The alternative is that we break down the ships for wood, which we can use to help build the local infrastructure such as roads and housing, or building a basic wooden palisade around the settlement to help us protect from native incursions. Honestly, the best of all these is actually break down the ships and improve the local infrastructure. It's the only one, in my opinion, that does anything good. I mean, we're up to 29 base tech, which is pretty good. The natives are fucked off now. He were for some reason they were in our capital. Now, the first thing I'm actually going to work on is actually increasing our stability, because we need it. So, there should be some more events soon, but for now, we are actually at the basis of the game. So, we're actually going to put down the speed to 3. Local natives appreciate our pantheon. Now, this is actually, I thought this was I thought this was like something very interesting, but it's actually one that'll pop up a few times, but we'll read it anyway. The Romans were known to tolerate other religions' pantheons, and even incorporate them into their own. Worship of Gaelic, or especially Egyptian gods, by true Romans was not at all that uncommon. This makes it easy for us to accept and share knowledge of the gods. The natives seem to appreciate our beliefs and recognize some of their own gods, spirits, and heroes in different shapes. So these guys became a bit more friendly with us. Let's open this up. Alright, there we go. So, now we're just going to slowly get our settlers out of the capital, because we'll have too many people in the capital if we don't get them out. Yeah, so at the moment it's just a nice little leisurely growth period, because it's going to take a while for us to set Elysia up, as you would no doubt expect. Now at the moment we have 93 gold and we're losing money, which is not good. So we're probably going to go into quite a few debts. Court faction under influence ruler, that's good. But so we're going to get basically most of the Constantinople events, but we are a new nation, so therefore I don't consider this a conflict with my other Let's Play. You can, however, but I'm not going to care because I enjoy this mod, so I'm kind of happy with it. So for the most part, we're just going to be growing. I could put the speed up, but for the most part, I kind of want it on 3 just because it's a bit. Actually, no. I put it on 4 speed when I was alone, and it took ages to get the things. You know, I'm not too fussed about 4 speed actually. Trading's probably better, but I'm gonna repress people. It's more fun. So yes, we got a Constantinus the 11th. Okay, yep. Native uprisings going to occur pretty frequently. But luckily we can just beat them with our army, so it's not too much of a problem. For the most part, yeah, it's going to be a very slow start, like I said. The hardest part of the expansion will be this part here for the first bit. But, I mean, for the most part, it's going to be a pretty quick expansion. A decent amount of modifiers. So, got the Books of Knowledge, which last forever, I think. I hope. If not, I may have to cry. We also have Exiled. We've got Eager Settlers, no Merchant class. Constrained Resources, Greek Fire, Manpower Shortage, Fire Before People. See, this is the bad things it does. Does hurt quite a bit. But in my opinion, this can disappear. That won't. Same with Books Before People. Books of Knowledge were way more important. And Silk Before People. Honestly, worth it. We're going to lose a bit of our income now. But that is fine. As long once we get probably, I think, the main of the start of the colony, we'll be fine. And we are in the Chesapeake Bay, if you were wondering. Probably one of the best places to start if you're going to restart. You want to restart your empire. Like a natural, massive bay. A new settlement. Our efforts to develop Odysseus go on, but now some of the settlers have rejected our capital city and begun establishing a new settlement quite far from the original one. Now people flock to their second settlement. We are left to split our efforts. And the settlement will have to be... No, more people means more taxes. What am I doing? Yeah. So making this... Alright, it's a 6th development. Not the best, but there we go. Odysseus is now done. I'm going to send my colonists straight over here. I'm going to move my army as well. Organizing the masses. We now have established a basic settlement. It isn't pretty or that large, but it is our home now. We have established a basic militia for defending town, set aside some land for farming, and cleared a local forest for wood. The overseers that run these projects are requesting more workers. However, there are not enough for them all. Where should we send the peasants? Well, honestly, I'd say manpower, but I think I'm going to go for production this time because money is useful. The Elysian homelands. Now that we have founded our new capital, it's time to expand our influence to the lands that surround it. This would provide a buffer zone that any enemies must first pass through. We also hope that one day to benefit from what may become the cultural and economic center of our empire. I can see it already. Homeland settled. With the neighboring provinces of Odysseus settled, it is time to encourage settlers to move there. While this may weaken our capital for a short period of time, it will certainly help with development of newly acquired provinces. So now that gets bumped up to 11, and it also gets emigration, isn't it? Or is our capital gets emigration? It's our capital gets immigration. We also, whenever we get a colony, we also get to see any surrounding provinces that we haven't seen before, like Portan and stuff. So it's a very useful thing. Now we're getting New Alexandria, or near Alexandria. But yeah, so we're doing very well. Core influence runs on... yeah, so just nice new pictures of the same old events. Okay, we're now at 0 stability, which is good. I'm going to probably try and push myself up to 1 stability just to make my life a little bit easier. Militia matters. The commanders of the city guards have received numerous reports of native raids directed at the peasants who work the wheat fields outside the defences of New Constantinople. The obvious situation is to send more men to patrol these areas. However, the guard is spread as thin as it is. and it would leave the city severely in demand. The militia are rather basic right now, and made of retired soldiers and part-time farmers. With a little time and training, they could become a significant force in their own right. Now, I'm actually going to, for once, send more guards to the farmland. Didn't seem to do as good as I hoped, but development is up. I'm kind of happy with that. Yeah, see, there we go. Either one of those would have increased greatly, so it was kind of worth it. I can promise you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there probably will be one more event before we end the part, I think. Don't know yet. New trade good. We've got New Alexandria now makes naval supplies. I think it's a very good thing. But actually, no, ladies and gentlemen, we'll stop here. I hope you guys have enjoyed the first part. Remember to tell me what you enjoyed down below. And I'll see you guys next part. See you guys then.